The film opens by following Yelena, an elite assassin who feels emotionally hollow. Ever since the death of her sister, the legendary Black Widow, she's struggled to find purpose. To avoid confronting that emptiness, she buries herself in dangerous assignments, traveling from country to country to eliminate threats on behalf of a powerful and secretive employer. Her work is efficient, violent, and leaves destruction behind. But she completes every mission without hesitation. Meanwhile, in Washington, political pressure is building. Reporters surround Congressman Barnes as he publicly criticizes Valentina, calling her a liability and promising to expose her corruption. However, his awkward public presence undermines his message. Soon after, a formal hearing begins, where Valentina is questioned over her ties to Roxxon, a corporation accused of illegal experiments and unauthorized super soldier research. Valentina deflects the accusations with confidence, dismissing the impeachment attempt outright, though privately she knows the investigation is dangerous. To protect herself, Valentina orders the destruction of any remaining evidence connected to Roxxon. Her assistant Mel informs her that nearly every assassin has completed their assignments, except one. That missing operative is Yelena. Yelena is found visiting her father Alexei, who is now living a quiet life, reliving his past achievements and running a modest limousine business. During their time together, Yelena admits she's exhausted and no longer believes in the work she's doing. Alexei recognizes her internal struggle and gently suggests that she consider leaving that life behind, just as her sister once did. Yelena notices memorabilia from Alexei's former team, the Thunderbolts, hinting at a past she never fully understood. Before leaving, Yelena contacts Valentina, hoping to step away for good. Valentina agrees on one final condition. Yelena must travel to an abandoned Roxxon facility hidden in the desert and eliminate another assassin. Inside the facility, Yelena descends underground, expecting a clean operation. Instead, she finds chaos. The mission immediately spirals out of control when she encounters unexpected individuals, including a strange man with no clear memory of how he got there. The situation turns confusing and hostile, forcing uneasy alliances to form. Later that night, Valentina hosts a high-profile party meant to reshape public opinion. She proudly displays classified artifacts from past global conflicts, attempting to position herself as a protector rather than a manipulator. Congressman Gary attends and openly mocks her efforts, but Valentina maintains her composure. Bucky also appears at the event, quietly gathering information. He interacts with Mel, who quickly realizes that Bucky is no longer operating as the Winter Soldier. He's trying to fix the damage he caused in the past and wants Valentina stopped for good. As tensions rise elsewhere, several of Valentina's former operatives come to the realization that they were all being used and possibly marked for elimination. Evidence suggests Valentina is attempting to erase anyone tied to her covert operations. Before they can escape, a lethal countdown is triggered inside the facility, leaving them only minutes to survive. Forced to work together, the group scrambles through the base, dodging traps and searching for a way out. Security footage later reveals their escape attempt, including the presence of the mysterious man whose identity no one can confirm. Alarmed, Valentina orders her forces to hunt them down and eliminate everyone involved. During the chaos, Alexei accidentally overhears critical information while working as a prison driver, confirming Valentina's intentions. Elsewhere, fragments of the strange man's past come to light. He was once part of a classified experiment known as the Sentry Project, a program believed to have failed with no survivors. As the group flees through elevators and collapsing corridors, they're forced to confront their pasts. Each of them carries deep trauma. Years of experimentation, manipulation, and violence have shaped who they are. Despite their differences, survival demands trust. Valentina eventually uncovers the truth about the Sentry Project's missing subject, and realizes that the man she believed dead is very much alive. With escape routes failing and enemies closing in, the group reaches the surface only to find themselves surrounded by armed forces. Yelena devises a risky plan involving deception, stolen uniforms, and brute force. While the strategy nearly falls apart due to impulsive actions, they manage to break through the perimeter and continue their escape, proving that Valentina's control over them is finally slipping. The group is left shaken after finally reviewing the files Yelena recovered. They learn that Bob was part of the Sentry program, a secret super soldier experiment meant to create an unstoppable being with power far beyond any hero before him. John already knows about the project and understands just how dangerous it is. Despite Bob's unstable condition, they agree that letting Valentina control him would be catastrophic. Their only option is to find Bob first and keep him out of her hands. They return to the city, but the next morning, a specialized unit arrives and takes Bob into custody. Valentina immediately orders Mel to assemble scientists and transport Bob to the New York headquarters. Even though the lab isn't fully prepared, Valentina demands immediate results, caring more about speed than safety. Elsewhere, Alexei wanders through the desert, searching for Yelena. Exhausted, sleep-deprived, and filled with regret, he continues anyway, driven by guilt and the determination to be there for his daughter, even if it's too late. As events unfold, Valentina moves Bob to the ruins of Avengers Tower. Inside, she attempts to manipulate him, presenting herself as a mentor who understands his pain. Mel warns her that Bob is mentally fragile and burdened with unresolved trauma, but Valentina ignores the concern. She treats him like a broken tool that can be reforged into something powerful and marketable. When Valentina makes physical contact with Bob, she briefly experiences fragments of her own traumatic childhood. Her father's criminal ties and violent death shaped her worldview, convincing her that power is the only true form of control. Bob insists that he can suppress the darkness inside him, which only reinforces Valentina's belief that she can mold him into the hero she wants. Meanwhile, Bucky has detained the Thunderbolts, believing they are loyal to Valentina. He plans to turn them over to Congress as witnesses. Once restrained, the group reveals everything they know about Bob and the Sentry Project, explaining that he never truly died and that his mental state is far worse than anyone realizes. Bucky understands that Valentina has far too much power, and that Bob must be protected before he becomes a weapon. As Valentina continues pushing Bob toward becoming a public symbol, Mel grows increasingly uneasy. Valentina makes it clear that in her world, people either submit to control or are reshaped through force. Unknown to Bob, she secretly prepares a device designed to override his free will. Bob begins training as Valentina feeds his ego, reinforcing the idea that his power is limitless. However, cracks begin to form. Bob grows uncomfortable with the costume, the expectations, and the control being imposed on him. When Valentina attempts to eliminate him after he resists her authority, Bob snaps and turns on her. Just before things go too far, Mel activates the control device, stopping him and saving Valentina's life. Outside, Alexei finally catches up to Yelena. She breaks down, admitting that her life feels hollow. Her sister is gone, her father was absent when she needed him, and she copes by drinking and throwing herself into endless work. Alexei apologizes, confessing that he never stopped loving her. He reminds her that beneath everything she endured, she is still the same girl who once protected others without hesitation. Suddenly, the sky darkens as a terrifying force emerges: the Void. Bob's destructive alter ego begins erasing people effortlessly. Reality itself starts collapsing under its presence. Yelena is pulled into the Void and trapped inside a series of painful memories. She relives her sister's death again and again, desperately trying to change the outcome. When that fails, she is thrown into memories from her childhood in the Red Room, where young girls were forced to train under brutal punishment. Yelena comforts her younger self, finally acknowledging the trauma she buried for years. Bob appears within her memories but is dragged into his own painful past. The Thunderbolts realize Yelena is trapped inside the Void. Though Bucky warns them of the danger, John points out that contact with Bob earlier pulled him inside as well. If one of them survived, maybe the others can too. Inside the Void, Yelena finds Bob hiding in his childhood bedroom, the only place that still feels safe to him. Bob admits that the Void has taken control and feeds on his pain. His memories reveal a violent upbringing and a failed attempt to protect his mother from abuse. Yelena assures him that he isn't broken and that he doesn't have to face this alone. When the Void attacks again, Bob finally realizes the destruction he's caused. He confronts his alter ego and accepts his pain instead of running from it. This moment of understanding weakens the Void's hold. Slowly, reality begins to restore itself. The chaos fades, and the city survives. Bob remains shaken but alive, no longer under Valentina's control. Soon after, Valentina publicly rebrands the surviving operatives, presenting them as a new government-approved superhero team. Though framed as a victory, it's clear that power, manipulation, and control are still very much in play.